All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, it's time to talk about Blue Purple Luffy again. That's right, we have to talk about how we're going to be building this deck post-ban, okay? OP-12 post-ban. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to get right into this. Let me go ahead and break down the video for you first. First things first, we're going to be heading over to the deck list. We have 3 different Blue Purple Luffy decks to go over today. Okay, after that, we're going to head over to the sim. We got 4 games. Excuse me. We have 4 games to go over today on the sim. Okay, and then after that, we're going to recap. I'm going to tell you guys what I think about this leader moving forward and all that good stuff. All right. As usual, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. To celebrate their 1-year anniversary, they're thanking the fans with a huge sale. Pre-orders are now open for the King of Hearts and Cotton Candy playmats, available while supplies last. And you can use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 5% off on your next order. Alright guys, let's go ahead and break down all these decks we have for today. We're going to start off with this list first and go through them one by one. They're all very similar, let me say that up front, but there's some small differences here and there, excuse me, that we're going to have to go over. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the leader and then we're going to run through this list. So, Blue Purple Luffy, 6,000 power, 3 life. You may activate this effect at the start of your turn if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on the field. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card and add it to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Okay? Now, if you're a newer player, I'm going to mouse over each one of these. Okay, so be sure to pause and read them if you don't know what they do. We're running 2 Nefeltari Vivi, 4 Nami, 3 Kazuki Odin. I'll talk more about this in just a second. We're running 3 of the 8-cost Monkey D. Luffy, 3 of the 9-cost Sanji, 4 Trafalgar Law, 4 Zoro Juro, 4 Usohashi, 4 Rosinante, 4 of the 2K counter Sanji, 3 of the 9-cost Luffy, 2 of the 6-cost Red Rock, 4 Gum Gum Giant, 4 Gear 2, and 3 God Thread. So this version is running a card we don't currently have access to, but let me say this right now. So we have 4 games we're going to be going over on the sim. The first game is using this list right here, and I don't think the Odin comes up. So this was something I was just trying. The entire idea here with this card is we can start bouncing back cards like the Nefeltari Vivi or bouncing back our Searchers and going from there. But again, I don't really think we need this card in here, and we don't even get access to this card over in the West until September. Okay, I think like halfway through September. Excuse me, guys, my throat today. Allergies going crazy. So this Odin, we're not going to talk too much about this. Like I said, this is the only version of the deck where I'm running this card, if I'm not mistaken, and it didn't even come up in my testing. Okay, so Nefeltari Vivi is just great, though, and so is this 8-cost Luffy. We lost the 9-cost, let me bring up 9-cost Lin Lin. We've lost this card, right? We cannot build with this card anymore, and we also cannot build Blue Purple Luffy with 8-cost Katakuri. So what are we going to do to replace those? Well, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, let's replace the 8-cost Katakuri with the Luffy, the blue secret Luffy. And then let's replace 9 Lin with the 9-cost Luffy, right? We're replacing the Katakuri and the Lin Lin with 2 different Luffys. It was working out okay. I think there might be something here. It's hard to say, but I will say this. This was probably my least favorite version of everything we're going to go over today. But a few things I picked up on when I was playtesting was this Luffy right here being able to bounce back cards like Nefeltari Vivi, your own cards, right? Guys, read this card, pause and read this card very carefully. You can trash a card and bounce a 4-cost or lower back to the owner's hand. So you can even bounce your cards back to your hand. In this case, we can bounce back Nefeltari Vivi. We can bounce back Usohachi after resting down one of their characters. We can bounce back our Trafalgar Law. And I think that's it for this version. But those are some really solid targets to bounce back. Or we could be more aggressive with it and bounce our opponent's characters out of the way, like 4-cost and lower blockers. This card is probably going to need to be a primary focus of how we build Blue Purple Luffy moving forward. Let me talk about Blue Purple Luffy for a minute, guys. This leader effect is actually very, very generically good. Yes, you do have to have some Straw Hat Crew type cards in your deck, but understand this, guys, as long as you're seeing 1 Straw Hat card every top 5 search from this effect, you get to draw the extra card. and then you set the remaining 4 cards up in the order you want, where you'll draw the next card you want, no matter what type of card it is, you'll draw for the turn, and you have 3 cards in the order that you want them in. So this effect is incredible, and I don't think we necessarily have to stick to a Straw Hat, type of deck. I mean, I think we should, don't get me wrong, I think we should stick to at least 18 Straw Hat cards or more. But that's probably not going to be very hard to do with Blue Purple Luffy, because look at this, guys. 4 Gum Gum Giants, 4 Gear 2s, and 2 Gum Gum Red Rock. That's 10 Straw Hat cards off the rip. And then if we're running 3 to 4 Sanjis, that's another 3 to 4 Straw Hat cards. And then we can build the rest kind of the way we want to. I say 18 because of the way numbers work when it comes to top 5 searches. If you check out hypergeometric calculators, if you're doing a top 5 search and you can hit 18 different targets, you have about a 90% chance to hit what you're looking for, okay? That's where that number 18 comes from, but anything above that number, yep, that's even better, right? So that's kind of the idea there, is as long as we have 18 cards in the deck that are Straw Hat searchable for our leader effect, and then you add in the 2K counters too. Guys, I mean, we kind of can build this deck however we want to. We've got Nefeltari Vivian here. We have Don Quixote Rocinante. We've got the 7-cost Odin in here. And then the other cards, we kind of can just play what we want. But it just so happens that 9-cost Luffy and 8-cost Luffy are Straw Hat searchable, and they're also very, very, very strong cards to play off of Sanji. Okay? So this is the first list here. It is pretty straightforward. It's very similar to what we've seen before, but watch how things change over time, guys. That's another thing we have to talk about. How do we want to build Blue Purple Luffy moving forward? I think we can build, in the same control route as before, but we can also try to build a little bit lower to the ground. And there might be some merit to that. There might be some logic, like, well, wait a minute, if we can build lower to the ground, that might also help our matchup against the more faster aggro decks out there. Okay, so that's the first list. Now let's check out the second one here. So this is the second list, okay? It's a little bit different. It's not much different. Technically, this card's not even different. I just changed out the 1-cost Trafalgar Law Straw Hat Crew Searcher for the 1-cost Capone Gang Beige Straw Hat Searcher. So, okay, I'm going to run through the list. We're running 4 Beige, 4 Nami, 3 of the 8-cost Luffy, 4 Sanji. You notice we went up a Sanji here. 4 of Zoro Juro, 4 Usohachi, 3 Onami. Okay, we're going to talk quite a bit about this card in a minute. 4 Zoro Juro, 2 of the 6-cost Secret Luffy, 4 2K counter Sanji, 2 of the 7-cost Luffy Taro, 2 of the 9-cost Luffy, 2 of the 0-cost Gum Gum Jet Gatling, 4 Gum Gum Giants, and 4 Gear 2. Now, guys, one thing that's I think is a little bit fun about this list, if I'm not mistaken, this list right here, I think I literally used this. Watch this, guys. We're about to bring up on the screen here. Take like a mental picture real quick. This is a first place green purple Luffy list. Here we go. I changed some things around. I took out the green cards, obviously. I took out the Chopper. I took out this 6-cost Luffy and changed it into a 6-cost Secret Luffy. Took out the stages. And then I took out the Sanji and Pudding and the Gamma Knives, and almost everything else is pretty much the same. I traded out these 1-cost When You're at Sea You Fight Pirates for Gear 2s, and I don't think I kept in the Frankie. So that's kind of, I used this first place list. I can't remember who did this list here, guys. It was just a random first place list I had from someone who won a big tournament. Big shout out to who that person is. Again, I don't know exactly who it was, but this is not my list you see on the screen here. But I used this groundwork and started thinking, okay, what if we built Blue Purple Luffy in more of a mid-range direction? But at the same time, we can't go straight from this. Watch how it changes. It's still, very, very different, because we want to get as much value as we can from a card like 9-cost Sanji. Guys, with the way that Blue Purple Luffy works, it works too perfectly with something like the Sanji here. Now, again, just to kind of go over some changes that I made, I think I changed out the Frankie for Zoro Juro. I think I changed out the Choppers for this Nami, or maybe it was for this Nami, who knows, one of them. And then I also added in some of the 8-cost Secret Luffy and the 9-cost Secret Luffy. I moved out the Cheers Luffy for this. I just wanted to see what we could do with this kind of base, like foundation for a deck that's built more with the mid-range in mind, like with Green Purple Luffy. And I did like it. I did like this version of the deck. Now, again, we're not running the 1-cost Event Searcher that Green Purple Luffy's running. We're running Gear 2 in the place of it in this version of the deck. But it was very interesting. This will be the second game that we go over. Out of the 4 games, this will be the second one using this list here. Then we have Onami here. So we have to talk about this card right here. This card is actually just awesome. I mean, it's just an awesome card. This is something that me and my buddy Mike were messing with in Purple Yellow Nico Robin. And what we realized was, man, if we just drop down all these incredible blockers, it's almost like we gain a life and we fix our hand at the same time. And this is searchable within the deck. Like, there's no downside to this card, right? And it's like, man, this is a really strong blocker that lets us fix our hand. And at the same time, we can bounce this card back to our hand with something like this 8-cost Secret Luffy. That's massive. For those who are not aware, I can pull back the beige here, or the Beji, however you say his name. I can pull back the Usohachi, or I can pull back this Onami. And that was something that started really processing in my mind, like, wait a minute, if we're going to run this Monkey D. Luffy, and there's good reason to run it, it's a very aggressive card. This might be the MVP of today's games. I think you guys are going to see that when we go over the games. This card in particular, this Luffy in the current format, might be an MVP in the current, in Blue Purple Luffy now. But yeah, this card, very, very strong, because we can even bounce back our own characters, guys. And that actually matters. Think about it. If I play out Capone Beige here, I get to do a search. And then that fixes my hand a little bit. And then after I attack in with Monkey D. Luffy, I'm going to trash a card I don't need anymore, and I'll pull the Beige right back to my hand. So now I have another 1k counter in my hand, and if I get to keep it for next turn, I can play it out as another searcher and keep bouncing it back for recurring value, always fixing our hand, and most importantly, always cycling through our deck so that we have new options on the next turn with our leader effect if we're at 8 or more Dawn. Okay, so really, really good stuff here with the 1-cost searchers. So this next version here, we are running the 9-cost Luffy. I think this was in the first version we saw as well. But try it out, Luffy Taro. So this wasn't the greatest version either. I will say I like this one, I think, a little bit better than the first one. Because the first version we looked at was just a pure, like, okay, let's see what we can do with Blue Purple Luffy, where we don't have 9-cost Linlin and we don't have 8-cost Katakuri. Let's see what we can mess around with. It was okay. Then I tried this version, made some revisions based off a very strong mid-range built Green-Purple Luffy deck. Got this, and this was okay too. This was fine, but it still wasn't quite there yet. Okay, now let's look at the third version here. This one's probably my favorite one, and it's where I'm going to be starting off next time I go to try to figure out this leader. Okay, I'm going to move the leader off the screen so it all fits on two rows here. Nefeltari Vivi, once I got rid of this card from the first list, I thought, okay, I actually miss this card a lot. Because if I can pull this card back, if I can use the 8-cost Luffy to pull back the Nefeltari Vivi to my hand, guys, that's just pure value at that point, right? Because think of it like this. Okay, if you play out Nefeltari Vivi, you go -1 card in hand, but you draw 2 cards. Again, assuming you're at 5 or less cards in hand, right? So you go -1 card in hand to draw 2 cards to go +1 in hand. Okay, well now, next turn, what we can do is, or whatever turn it might be, we swing in with Luffy, and if we'll trash a card from our hand, but get the card right back by pulling back the Nefeltari Vivi. So even though we go -1 in hand to do the effect, we get this Nefeltari Vivi right back. And then we get to play this out later, or use it as a 1k counter, whatever the case might be. And now we're drawing 2 cards again. And that is just such a good way to push through the deck for our leader's effect. Huge fan of this interaction here with Nefeltari Vivi and Luffy. Now, with this version here, let me go ahead and, I forgot to run through the list, guys. I'm going to run through the list real quick, and we're going to talk about it. So I'm running 2 Nefeltari Vivi, 4 Nami, 3 Luffy, 2 Mihawk, 3 Sanji, went back down to 3 Sanji, 4 Zoro, 4 Usohachi, 4 Mr. 2 Bankare Bentham. That's right, we'll talk about this in a minute. 4 Onami, okay? Lesson learned from the last list that I was messing with before this one, and I started thinking, you know what, this card is just incredible. Okay, really, really good card for fixing our hand. So I went up to 4 Onamis, 2 Rosinantes, 1 of the 6-cost Luffy, 4 2k counter Sanji, 2 Red Rocks, 4 Giants, 4 Gear 2, and 3 God Thread. Let's talk about Mr. 2 Bankare Bentham real quick. I was not getting ramp consistently enough in the other 2 versions. Yes, every now and then I get the Zoro down, but you never know, it might get removed. And then, yes, I was getting down the Gear 2s. You know, I can just activate those right away, but I don't always get those. And notice I took out the 1-cost searchers here. I might go back to the 1-cost searcher, but the unfortunate part about those is that you get rid of your Gum Gum Giants in your Gear 2s. Now, I think soon there's going to be a 2-cost Straw Hat Searcher Nami. Here it is. Pause and read this card if you don't know what it does. Actually, I will read this for us, guys. This is coming out in PRB 02. It's a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter Straw Hat Searcher. with a trigger to play this card. And it has on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card other than Nami, and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this card is actually going to be very nice in the list going forward whenever I make some revisions to it, because we can even search up Gum Gum Giant. What I was going to say, the one downside to Beige and Trafalgar Law is you can't search up Gum Gum Giant or Gear 2. So it's like, okay, if I'm going first or second, I want to play Gear 2 on turn 2, like no matter what. Unless I can play out this Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham or maybe this Zoro Juro. So, you know, being able to go turn 1 Searcher and then I go right over my Gear 2s, that didn't really feel good. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. It still gets plenty of value in a deck like this. But I would rather get straight to my straight to my ramp. So that's kind of the idea. Whenever we get access to this Nami, I think this will just be an automatic inclusion into the deck. I'm not exactly sure what it will replace. Maybe it will get rid of these 2 Rosinantes. We'll have to see. But whatever the case is, I do want to add this Nami as soon as we can, at least for testing purposes to see how good it is. Okay, so what else? So notice we're adding the Mihawk here. This version of the deck here, guys, this is meant to actually curve out and be kind of aggressive. Okay, here's the idea. Let's just say we're going first for this example. I'll do going second afterwards. Going first, you know, we don't have any turn 1 play. We're just going to pass. Turn 2, we're going to either play out Zoro Juro or play out Gear 2 and ramp Dawn. Turn 3, now we're on 6 Dawn if we ramped, right? Or we could get straight to 6 Dawn with Zoro as well. You don't even have to attach a Dawn. Just swing in, you'll get to 6 Dawn. On 6 Dawn, you can just slam down God Thread to get rid of one of your opponent's characters and ramp a Dawn, or play out Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham to ramp a Dawn. Well, now we went from 6 Dawn to 7. Now, next turn, by the way, preferably I think you'd want to play out God Thread here because you can remove your opponent's threat and slow them down. And then either way, though, next turn you're going into Mihawk or 8-cost Luffy. Either one's fine. But this Mihawk being able to slam this down and just get rid of your opponent's character again while getting down a 9k body is very nice. So this version here was built more around a tempo package where we kind of want to play ramp and removal on curve. And then when we get to the late game, we're just going to completely sit back and chill on our leader's effect and just draw cards after cards after cards with effects like Nefeltari Vivi, Nami, the 4-cost Onami, Rosinante, and the leader effect like I was saying. And of course, Gum Gum Giant. And that's the whole idea there. Now, notice this version, we're only running 3 of the 9-cost Sanji. So the whole idea is, you know, with the direction I'm building this list where it is a little bit more tempo, I don't necessarily need to slam down a bunch of Sanjis every single turn. And in future versions of the deck, I could see myself going down to only 2 of the 9-cost Sanji. I don't ever want the card in my hand, to be completely honest. I'd rather draw into it with my leader's effect and then set things up from there. And I'd rather just have threats I can just play out where I don't have to combo it with the 9-cost Sanji. I'd rather just go threat after threat after threat, and now all my opponent is worried about is like not getting run over next turn. That's what I'm trying to do. And with this version here, there is actually more removal than it might seem, because we have the 2 Red Rocks, we have the 3 God Threads, but then we have 3 of the Monkey D. Luffy and 2 Dracula Mihawks. So there's actually a fair amount of removal in this list, even though it's kind of subtle, it doesn't really look that way. Okay, Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham, I know we already talked about this. This is just a great card to play out to ramp early on. I think I mentioned this with the second list. It felt like I wasn't getting enough consistent ramping, so I did up the amount of ramp we have in the deck. We have the 3 God Threads, we have 4 Gear 2, 4 Zoro Juro, and 4 of Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham. And everything else is about the same. Notice this list is running a single Secret Luffy. This card is just nice, period. If you're playing this out and you have 10 Dawn, think about it like this, guys. You play this card out for 6. You attack in, returning 2 active Dawn. And now you're swinging for, you're swinging for 7, twice in one turn with just this one card. And then your leader's a 6k, so you can attach 1 Dawn to your leader, swing for 7, and you still have a Dawn left over for your Gum Gum Giant or your Gear 2. So it's kind of like one of those cards where it's like, well, yeah, this is actually just a really, really good card. As it turns out, this card's just insane. And there is some idea, there is some logic on maybe there is, there might be a world where we up the amount of these that we go. I don't know. Or some people might not like the card in Blue Purple Luffy. Hey, that's fine too, right? That's fine too. Either way, tell me what y'all think about this card in the comment section below within the parameters of Blue Purple Luffy. Okay, well, that's about enough yapping, wouldn't you say, guys? All right, let's go ahead and head over to the sim and see what this deck can do, see what all of these decks can do, because the last 2 games are going to be running this list here. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let's see the deck in action. All right, guys, first game up we have against Silver's Rayleigh, and we've got some pretty decent games lined up for today. First game is against Silver's Rayleigh, second game is against Shanks, Red Shanks, of course, and then the third game is against Green Zoro, and the fourth game is against Green Purple Luffy. All right, let's do this, guys. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. All right, so pretty long game we have here, guys, because against the aggro decks, you have to weather the storm. Actually, you have to weather the storm. So we're going to get to go first here. Rayleigh's going second. They go turn 1 observation hockey to do a search, and Shakiyaku, they're fixing their hand. We swing for 6, and we're going to ramp it on. We're going up to 4 Dawn. Okay, my opponent is going to play out Boa Hancock. Double Searcher here. They're just building up their hand. They're passing the turn. They're not under any pressure. I still have less life than they do, even though they've taken the first hit from us. Okay. Now here we go. And by the way, they can only swing 5 into 6. That's another reason why they did not attack, of course. Okay, so we swing for 6. They're going to 2K counter out. They still have 6 cards in hand. I only have 6 Dawn here, guys. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and ramp twice. And now I'm up to 8 Dawn. That's right, guys. Pause. We have to talk about this. I know this is a long game. Bear with me. This is for the newer players out there. Guys, getting to 8 Dawn as fast as possible is the number one. That is the number one goal you should have with this leader. Nothing else matters as much, okay? So we got straight to 8 Dawn. We are on turn 3. Guys, we're on turn 3. We're going to untap on turn 4 and go to 10 Dawn. Okay, so that's what we did there. And remember, once we get to 8 Dawn, we're fixing our entire top 5 cards of our deck and drawing 2 cards a turn, okay? That is extremely relevant. And, of course, we have access to 10 Dawn to do more with our turns. Okay, here we go. And we still have 3 life left, by the way. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and replace the Shakiyaku on the board. They're going to swing for 7. They only have 5 cards left in hand. We're going to take that hit, and that's their whole turn. Okay, my turn. Now, we did not see a Sanji. That is really unfortunate. I wanted to be able to get a 9-cost Sanji into something right there, but we just didn't see it. Okay, so we draw the card we want for the turn. We set the next card that we want to draw for the turn. We draw into the Nami, and we have 3 cards left. Okay, that we know about. Unless I sent it to the bottom, but I think I kept it on top. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play out the 9. Okay, here, guys, this Luffy, pay attention. Keep track of how strong this Luffy is, guys. It got so much value in today's games, but in this game in particular, an absolute all-star MVP. So we go ahead and trash a 2K counter, and we bounce the Luffy right back to their hand. I'm saying, okay, you know what? If you want to keep developing that every turn and using 4 Dawn in the process, that's a thumbs up for me. You go right ahead. Okay, so we pass the turn. We have a Gum Gum Giant. They're going to swing for 7. We've got 3 2K counters in hand, guys. They're going to swing for 6. Probably going to give them just another 2K, and then we might just Gum Gum Giant counter out of this next hit because we want to cycle through our cards as well, right? Okay, here we go. They're going to use their Boa here to, they used both Boas to put 2 Dawn on the leader and 2 Dawn on the buggy, and now they refill the board with a Luffy and a Nami, and now they're going to swing for 7 and 8. We take the 7, we're going to Gum Gum Giant out of the 8, trashing a 2K counter from my hand, and then drawing 2 cards in the process. Very nice. Okay, well, now we're back to our opponent, or we're back to our turn. We're going to fix our hand, and guys, where's all of my big cards at? Like this would have been a very strong turn for me to draw into something like a Gum Gum Giant or a Gear 2, and then put down a 9-cost Sanji into a blocker. But where are those cards? I have no idea. They're just nowhere to be found. But that's okay. We got a blocker. That's going to allow us to draw through our deck. We put 2 events on the bottom of our deck. We don't want that. We don't want the Red Rock in this matchup, and we don't want the God Thread. Here we go. We're going to play out Nefeltari Vivi. We're drawing cards like crazy. How many cards did we draw this turn? We drew 7 cards this turn, guys. Like, we went through 7 cards this turn. 5 from the leader effect. We drew 2 of those. And then 3 with Nami. And then 2 with Nefeltari Vivi. Okay, so here we go. We're going to swing in. Hang on, I'm trying to determine how I want to do this. I'm going to go 6 into 3 first. That card's gone. They get to draw a card. I'm going to attack into this. I'm going to trash a card, bouncing the Luffy back to hand. I'm going 9 into 5. They're going to save that card with a bunch of 2Ks and 1Ks there, and now it's going to go back to my turn. But guys, I have a blocker now. I have 1 life. I have 1 Dawn active. He doesn't know that I don't have a Gum Gum Giant or a Gear 2 in hand. We're going to 2K counter out of that. And again, guys, we have this blocker, and we have some 1Ks as well. Okay, they're going to swing for 9. We're just simply going to block out of that. There's all my top end cards, guys. We saw them all in just a single. Top 5 search. It happens. You never want to see that. I grabbed the 9-cost Luffy. Everything else is going to the bottom of the deck. I actually think I should have grabbed the 1K counter Zoro in that situation just for counter power, but that's okay. Here we go. We're 5 cards deeper into our deck. We're going to play out a Nefeltari Vivi. That's a draw 2. We're going to play out a Nami. That's a draw 3. Put 2 on the top or bottom. We're putting 2 on the bottom. And we just went through another 7 cards, guys. Actually, in that situation there, pause. In that situation right there, we just went through 5 cards with our leader. We drew 2 of those cards. And then we drew 2 more cards with Nefeltari Vivi. And then we drew 3 cards with Nami and put 2 back. So we basically went through 7 cards in our hand. But we actually went through 5 plus 2 plus 3. We went through 10 cards this turn. There's only 25 or 30 cards left in my entire deck. Okay, so here we go. So we just went through all that searching. And watch this, guys. It doesn't even end there. We're going to go 7 into 5. My opponent should have absolutely let this card go. So that way he could have gotten a card from his life. Because otherwise I'm going to swing 9 into it with my Luffy. But hey, that's fine with me. Okay, we'll see what they choose to do. They're going to 0 cost and they're going to 2K to get out of it. Well, now he only has 2 cards left in hand. I'm going to go ahead and trash a card from my hand. The other Luffy. I'm going to bounce back their Luffy. 9 into there. Your turn. He lost 2 characters. I have 1 life. I have a gear 2. I have a blocker. Yeah, that's how strong blue-purple Luffy's leader effect is. It's just incredibly powerful, okay? I'm not saying it's broken or anything like that, but I do think it's going to present some potential problems for the designers in the future. We'll see what happens. And this is just a game on the sim. Don't overreact, guys. I'm just trying to say that the leader has a lot of potential. They smash in. We're going to block out. They smash in. We're going to 2K out. They play out Luffy again. That's all they have. Oh, guys, there's my Sanjis. What do you know? I found my Sanjis, and now I don't need them. Now I don't even need them. So we're going to go ahead and grab a card. I think we shipped everything back to the bottom of the deck. And here we go. We're going to play out the Nami. We're just going to go through cards like crazy, guys. We're just going to keep going through cards. I'm very scared to play out my 1-cost Trafalgar Laws because I don't want to go over my Gum Gum Giants. I think I've only gone through 1 or 2 Gum Gum Giants. So we're going to trash this 8-cost here, and we're going to attach a Dawn. Oh, excuse me, I couldn't attach a Dawn because I had no rested Dawn. That was just a play mistake. I mean, I did bounce their card back to hand, but I actually wanted to attach a Dawn. Okay, we play out the Nami. Nice. We got a Gum Gum Giant now. We're good. We're going to go put 2 cards on the bottom of the deck. We're just blasting through the deck at this point. There's only 22 cards left, and we're going through 5 to 7 a turn. Okay, so we're going to pass the turn back. We have 2 Dawn active for a Gear 2 and a Gum Gum Giant. They have 2 events in hand. They don't even have any characters. Swing for 7. Okay, 2K. Swing for 7. Okay, 2K. Or Gear 2, actually. And then swing for, what is this? Unblockable. Swing for that. Okay, we'll just go ahead and Gum Gum Giant. Return 2, trashing this Searcher. Beautiful. Okay. We're in a situation now where my opponent did say something, I think, over in the comments, over in the, behind where my camera is. They were talking to me. I got to give a big shout out. I had to write their name down to Angie. His name was Angie on the sim. I told him I would feature this game on YouTube. He goes, oh, you mess with YouTube? I was like, yeah, I've got a channel on YouTube. And he's like, really, what's your channel? I was like, my name's the VV Theory. And he was like, really? Big fan. So big shout out to Angie. Good game to them, of course. But you guys see where this game's going. This is what this deck does. Watch this. Dawn minus, or we're going to win attacking, -1. We're going to pull back our Nefeltari Vivi, attach a Dawn to the other Nefeltari Vivi, and then they KO it with a Gum Gum King Kong Gatling. But that's okay, guys. We got another Nefeltari Vivi. We're up to 7 cards in hand. We have 4 cards on the board. We have 1 life. Our opponent's down to 3. Good game to them. Like I said, they were a really cool person. I got to meet them. Big shout out to Angie for the awesome game, and awesome pilot for Rayleigh there. They were doing a lot of things that I think they should have done there. The only thing I might have done differently is I probably would have let that, there's only one thing in particular I would have done differently, just with the knowledge I had of the game. I would have definitely let the Kid and Killer go. So that way I attack in, and there was no way to know this, but did we see what the second card of life was? The second card of their life was actually a Gum Gum King Kong Gatling, and he could have potentially eaten up one of my cards earlier on. Either way, good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Okay, so that was running the first version of the deck. Now, let's go ahead and check out. So that was against Silver's Rayleigh. Now we got a game versus Shanks, against Red Shanks. And this is running the second version of the deck. Let me get the volume off, speed on 2x. Okay, we're good to go. This is running the second version of the deck that was kind of based around the green-purple Luffy mid-range deck, the green-purple Luffy standard deck. Okay, we're going to go we're going first. Turn 1, we had nothing. Turn 2, Zoro Zero. They swing for 6. We give them the other Zoro Zero. We don't need another one. Right here, I think we're just going to attack for 4K just to ramp a Dawn. Remember, guys, if you're trying to play Zoro Zero in a dual color leader that does not have 3 life, you have to have 3 or less life in order to do his when attacking effect. Okay, we play out the Zoro with the remaining 4 Dawn. We grab a Gum Gum Giant. That's always nice. And we have a Sanji in hand already as well. They're going to go 5 and a 4. We're just going to let that go. We don't need that card. 6 and a 6. I'm going to give him a 1K counter. I don't need any more Zoro Zero. He's going to play out a Zoro of his own with the on KO effect. Okay, that's the Zoro that has the on KO. Play out a 6,000 power or lower red character whose name is not Zoro. Okay, so we're going to play out the 1 cost blue Searcher here for Straw Hat Crew. Capone Gang Beige. And we're going to go ahead and search up a 9 cost Luffy. One thing about Shanks is, you know, I think you just want a really strong board state that's hard for them to deal with. However, they can get rid of any card that I have. They can legitimately get rid of any card that I have in this deck with the 10 cost Shanks that KOs a 10k or less. We're going to play out another Zoro Zero just as a means of pressure and to ramp Dawn if needed. Just, it's good to have the extra card on the board. My opponent has about 11 cards in hand, guys. 11 or 12 cards in hand. If I had Pudding, this guy might have left the game. Guys, if I had hit him with a Pudding that last turn there after swinging for 6 and swinging for 9, that would have been so insanely punishing. I just thought about that right now. I might have to make some revisions after this. I mean, I'll definitely have to make revisions. Y'all know what I mean. So they swing 6 and a 6 here, and then they just pass the turn because they develop a Nefeltari Vivi. That is the 7 cost secret Nefeltari Vivi from like OP-0. I can't remember. I think it's in block 1. I'll check in a minute because I'm going to mouse over the card in the game. But that card I have not seen people mess with in a while, guys. But that can give every character, I think it's every red character that costs 3 or more will gain Rush. Okay, so we're still not attacking into Zoro. I just don't care about that Zoro card. I'm not going to swing into it. I'm going to swing 6. They 2k counter out. I'm going to swing for 6 more. They're going to probably leader effect in 1k. Okay, and now we're going to play out the Sanji. We set up the top cards of our deck. We grab a 2k counter with the Zoro Zero we played out from the Sanji, and then we put the rest on the bottom of our deck in any order. Okay, we have double Gum Gum Giant. We have a Gear 2. We have a 0 cost, a 2k counter, 2 life. Yeah, I would feel a little bit safer if I had a blocker here, but that's pretty much all we're missing. Okay, so there's the Nefeltari Vivi. That's from OP-04 from Block 1. All of your red characters with a cost of 3 or more other than this character gain Rush. Very, very powerful card within Shanks, guys. Very interesting to see this. This is a pretty interesting version of Shanks in general that we're seeing, because look, they have the Zoro. Okay, so they play out the 10 cost Shanks. They KO my 9k Sanji. And now watch this. That's all they can do for the turn. They can't swing with anything else because my character's a 6k on the board and my leader's a 6k. So I'm actually going to go ahead and cash in on a Gum Gum Giant here to save this card and get through my deck. Okay, we have to 2k, 0 cost 3k and a 2k to get out of that. Leader effect, very, very nice. Now we're going to be able to use Gum Gum Giant here. Okay, hang on, watch what I do here. I'm going to grab the Nami for the turn so he doesn't know I have a Gum Gum Giant. I'm going to draw into a Sanji. Again, he doesn't know what I'm doing. I'm going to draw into a Sanji. Now watch this, guys. All right, we're going to poke this guy down. He's got all those cards in hand. He's going to have to start giving us those cards. Swing 6, swing 6, swing 6, swing 10. That's the order of business for today. Okay, they take the 6k hit there. I'm going to swing for 6 more. You got to give me a 2k or leader effect 1k. Okay, they 1k to get out of it. I'm going to play this out, Dawn -1, and I think my opponent just leaves here, unfortunately. Pause. So in this situation, I will say this. I don't think I was going to swing. Guys, get used to this. Get used to this. If you're playing against a player, if you're playing against someone who has red, you probably should not swing in general to knock them down to 0 life or try not to get down to 0 life. Because if he was running the 10 cost Roger, that could have been really complicated. Now, don't get me wrong. I literally have 2 life in this situation here. So even, I mean, they can't swing with their Shanks and they can't swing with their Zoro unless they attach Dawn. Well, if they attach Dawn, they can't even play Goldie Roger. So I was probably safe to swing in there. But look what we would have given him if we had done that. He would have gotten the 10 cost Shanks, and at that point, it does get a little bit scary. But one thing I will say is this, guys, look at his hand. He does not have a single counter in his hand, and next turn, he's only getting a 2k counter. And meanwhile, I have a 2k, 1k, 1k, and then Gum Gum Giant in hand. I only have enough Dawn for a Gum Gum Giant, so even though I have Gear 2, it's not even worth mentioning. Either way, good game to my opponent. There is how Sanji can really help in the late game. You slam down a 9 cost, it slams down another 9 cost. This one can rush, and it drew me into a card. Look what the next card of my deck is, guys. It's going to be a Gum Gum Giant for later. Seems good. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, now we got a game versus Green Zoro. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Green Zoro is a tough matchup right now, guys. I tried to get as many tough matchups as I can. Green Zoro is a very tough matchup for Blue-Purple Luffy. Now, understand this, guys. This is running the third version of the deck, okay? The first game was on the first version. Second game was second version. Now, the third game and the fourth game are both with the third version. Okay, so I'm going to ramp on turn 1. Seems good. We always want to ramp, or excuse me, on turn 2. We're going to ramp. That's what we want to do. They're going to swing for 9. We get another ramp. We're not upset about that. And, guys, we're about to get another ramp. Okay? So right here, I think we're going to go ahead and develop a Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham. We're going to swing for 7. I'm going to play out this this card here. I'm at 8 Dawn, so I don't need to use Gear 2 again. Next turn, I will untap with 8 Dawn to be able to play out what I want to. They're going to play out a Tashigi and attach 3 Dawn for free to their leader. My Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham is gone. And now they're going to go ahead and probably just swing at face for 8. And I think we might even take this. Actually, I can just 3K out of that because I'm a 6,000 power leader. Seems good. They finish up with the Perona. Now their entire board is stuck. And, oh, man, guys, that's what we want to see. We're going to grab up probably the Gum Gum Giant, or excuse me, the Gum Gum Red Rock here. And then we're going to set up where we draw into the Sanji, and then our top card will be a Luffy. So now we're going to get to go ahead and swing in probably for 6. Yeah, I think it's going to be swing for 6. They give me a 2K counter, play out the Sanji, swing for 9. We're not going to bounce any cards back to hand. We're not going to trash any cards. They take that. They're down to 2. I have 2 actual threats on the board for them now. I have 1 Dawn active, but I do not have a Gear 2 or a Gum Gum Giant. So this is a scary turn for me, actually, guys. All things considered, depending on what I get from my life, this is actually a pretty scary turn for me. Okay, but this is an 8 Dawn turn for my opponent, so they are going to want to play their 8-cost Mihawk. Guys, if you're playing Zoro, you just need to slam down your Mihawk on your 8 Dawn turn. That's just how it goes. I mean, you don't have to, but if you don't do that, what else would he try to do in this situation? Yep, that's what he's going to do. I think it's the right call pretty much every time. Now, my opponent does make, I would consider, like a slight mistake here. I think they go, so what I would have done in this situation is I would have swung 8K with Tashigi into my Luffy. I have to give them a card from hand at that point. I just take this. They draw me right into a Gear 2. I'm like, okay, thank you very much. They're going to go 8 into my Luffy. I'm going to 1K counter out of that. They're going to go 8 more into 6. I'm probably just going to Gum Gum Giant out of this. I would try not to get down to 0 life anymore, guys, with Blue-Purple Luffy. Before, I would say get down to 0 life as much as you can and get full value from your 9 lens. But in this situation here, guys, we don't have a way to gain life anymore. So I don't think you should go down to 0 life unless you have no other choice. Okay, so here's our leader effect for the turn. I like the idea of grabbing a 2K counter here. And then I put everything else to the bottom of the deck. Okay, I draw into a God Thread. That's pretty good. That is pretty nice here, but I think what we're going to do is we're probably just going to try to bottom deck the Mihawk here. Looks like I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to regret not doing that for the most part. Okay, instead we do play out the Nami. That's completely fine, actually. So we play out the Nami here. One option we could have done is played out the Rosinante and got 2 Dawn active at the end of the turn. And then we still have a blocker and 2 Dawn, so they can't just do a Hody Jones and get all of our targets down that are defensive. But still, you got to be very careful against green, guys. Try to leave more than 2 Dawn active every turn and a blocker. So then they can only get, you know, a blocker and a Dawn or 2 Dawn and leave up your blocker. You got to be very careful. We'll talk about that in just a second here. So I swing for 9 into 7. He blocks in 2Ks. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and swing for 10 into the Tashigi, trashing the Rosinante to attach another Dawn to my Luffy. And now I'm going 11 into 7. This is going to cost a 2K, 2K, 1K to get out of. It's going to cost him a bare minimum of 3 cards because he has no Dawn active. And now the card's gone. So now we're going to swing for 6 into 5. He's going to 2K counter out of that, and I have 3 Dawn active. Okay, pause. We have to talk about this, guys. If he plays out a Hody Jones, he can rest my blocker in a Dawn, or he can rest 2 Dawn. Either one's fine with me, because I only have 1 Gum Gum Giant, and I have my blocker. So, let me say this, guys. If you are playing against a green deck of any kind now, if you're playing against a green deck of any kind, here's what you have to factor in. You're going to need blockers and Dawn plus 2 of, you know, how do I say this? Like, if you only need 2 Dawn for your turn, actually, hang on, there's probably a better way to say this. Give me 1 second, guys. Your opponent is going to rest down 2 targets, right? So you need to have a total of 4 targets for your opponent to worry about when they play out Hody Jones or if they play out Dead Man's Game. So, for example, if my opponent plays out Dead Man's Game right now, he can rest my Nami and he can rest a Dawn or 2 Dawn. Okay, fine. I still have a Dawn active and my blocker, or I have 2 Dawn active. pick your choice, whichever one's fine with me. So make sure you're taking that into consideration whenever you're playing against green. It should totally change your play more than likely, okay? Because there were other things I wanted to do this turn, right? There were other things I would have liked to have done, but I had to play around specific things. Okay, that was a little bit long-winded, a little bit clumsy. Hopefully it made sense. Here we go. So right now, I'm not scared of Hody Jones, because even if he had double Dead Man's game, that's like 8 Dawn. He won't have any Dawn left to swing with. I'll be fine. Okay, so they're going to play out a Tashigi here. They're going to attach 3 Dawn to the leader. They're going to go, and they rest down my Nami. They're going to swing 8 into Nami. I'm just going to let that go. He can have it. Now he's going to go 8 into 6. We're going to start off with the Gum Gum Giant here. Dawn -2. I'm going to trash the Sanji. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Nice. There's Onami. That card is massive right in this situation of the game. That allows me to go through a lot of cards, guys. Okay, Dead Man's game. They rest down my Dawn. And watch this. They're going to try to go and take me down to 0 life. Well played there, but I'm not going to let it happen. I have a lot of counter in my hand. I'm going to 2K to get out of that. Okay, my turn. Here we go. I need that Gum Gum Giant. I need counter power. I just have to survive at this point, guys. That's all that I have to do is survive. That's it. So I'm going to grab the 2K counter. I don't want him to know I have a Gum Gum Giant in my hand. He might assume that I have one correctly, but I don't want him to know for a fact I have one. I don't want to give him any information like that. I don't want him to know. I could have a gear too for all he knows. Okay, so I grab the 2K counter Sanji, I adjust the rest of my cards, I draw a Gum Gum Giant for the turn, I play out Nonami, trashing a card, drawing the cards I wanted, and now I can play out Nefeltari VV to draw through 2 more cards here. And now I will have 3 Dawn active and a blocker. So again, notice what and watch this, but hang on, this play's not over. I'm going to swing for 8. Actually, I think I'm going to do this a little bit differently here. Yeah, no, excuse me. I swing for 8, trashing the Mihawk, bouncing my card back to hand for more counter power, giving it Dawn to my Sanji. Now I'm going 10 into 8. He's gonna counter out there, but guys, at what cost? And now we're swinging for 6 and a 5. He doesn't want to go down any lower than this. He's okay. 2K counters out. He's got 2 cards in hand, and now it's about to be his turn. Like I said, guys, I have 3 Dawn and a blocker. So as long as you have 4 Dawn plus blockers available. Let me say it like that, guys. As long as you have 4 Dawn plus blockers available, that's the best you can do against green. You can't ask for much more than that. It might not even be possible. But that's pretty much the best you can do against green, is make sure you have 4 Dawn plus blockers available. Okay, 10 into 6. Well, okay, that's going to be his biggest attack this turn, unless he does things in the incorrect order. So he's going to swing 10 into 6. I'm going to take that because I'm feeling pretty good now. He plays out Luffy is the man who will be the Pirate King and attaches 2 more Dawn. Swing for 12. Okay, well, Gum Gum Giant. I'm going to trash a 1K from my hand. I have enough to counter in hand, and I still have Gum Gum Giant, guys. We're going to 2K, 1K to get out of that after the 4K. They're going to go 7 into 6. That's an easy 2K counter. He's going to swing 8. Guys, I still have a blocker on the board. Okay, block, and he's going to pass it back. I believe we have lethal. We have lethal right here, guys, but watch this. We get into the 6 cost Secret Luffy. We will also take that, right? We'll take that, and now we're going to be able to play that out, and now it's going to be 7, 7, 9, 9, 7. I think that's what it's going to be, guys. Okay, yep, 7. He just goes ahead and just concedes there. Good game to my opponent, but that was it. The writing was on the wall. There's nothing they could do. They didn't even have 2K counter in hand to get out of a single 7, and we were going to go 7, 7, 9, 9, and whatever's left on the leader. Good game to my opponent. The best thing I can recommend people to do to play around green right now, of any color, or of any combination, not even just green Zoro, Bonnie, green purple Luffy, you name it, make sure you keep 4 Dawn plus blockers up. Okay? All right, we got one more game to go over, guys. These were some pretty long games today. That's just kind of the nature of how blue purple Luffy functions. It's still very much a control deck no matter how you build it. Okay, so volume's off, speed's on 2x, I think. Didn't I click it? I did. And here we go. Okay, well that was not the greatest hand to start, so we go ahead and ship that back with mulligan, and this is a better hand for sure. So we have ways to ramp, we have ways to remove. We're going to swing for 6, we're going to play out the Zoro here, and we're going to try to double ramp next turn, guys. We're going to try to double ramp next turn. Okay, they play out the Nami, they're going to swing in for 7. I think I might counter out of this. Yeah, we're going to 2K counter to get out of that, and here we go, guys. Watch this. We're just going to swing for 4 just to ramp a Dawn. We're going to swing for 6. Just in case there's any kind of triggers to worry about. We're going to go ahead and play out the Mr. 2 Bon Cray Bentham, getting a Dawn as active, playing out the Gear 2, and ramping run 8 Dawn. Okay, again, we're going into our turn 4 on 10 Dawn going first. That is a really good spot to be in. They get rid of my Zoro Juro. That was smart. And now, guys, even though, like, oh man, I'm down to 3 cards. What am I going to do now? Well, I'm just going to draw 2 cards for the rest of the game every single turn. And this guy caught a break. This guy definitely caught a break, because if I had gotten into a 9-cost Sanji, into a 9-cost Luffy, or an 8-cost Luffy or something, this would have been tragic for my opponent. I can tell you that much right now. Okay, so right here, we're going to swing for 6 into 6. I want to get some cards out of my opponent's hand. There's a 1K, swing 7 into 6 using the pudding. Get a 2K out of hand. Bottom deck, they're putting. And we're just going to slam down a Onami. We're going to fix our hand. We get rid of the God Thread. That's not the greatest card in this situation. They're going to go 2 into 1. Guys, I even thought about 2King out of that just to save an attack on my leader. But it's like, nah, just let it go. It's not worth being, you know, too fancy over. So, all right, they're going through their deck here with the Going Marys, drawing cards with Sanji and Pudding, Zoro, Juros, Namis. Look at this, guys. Every card on their board's drawing a card. Absolutely insane. Seems really, really good. You know, not insane, not broken, just very, very strong the way the deck is built. Okay, it's our turn. There we go. Now we're talking. We've got the 9-cost Sanji here. I need to do things in the correct order. We're going to grab a 2K counter here, and then we're going to set at the top of our deck. He doesn't know we're about to do a Sanji play here, does he? He does not know we're about to do a Sanji play. We draw the Nami for the turn. We're going to go 6 into 6 here, I think. I'm going to go into his board. I do want to drag this game out a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Nice. I got a card out of his hand. Otherwise, he would have probably taken it. And now we're going to play out the Sanji here, playing out the 6-cost Secret Luffy, attacking into that card. It's gone. And now he has a threat to worry about. We have 1 Dawn active. We have a blocker. We have 2 life. We have plenty of counter in hand. We're doing just fine. Okay, 6 into 6. I want to be able to protect that Luffy, but I don't think I can. So I'm just actually going to I'm gonna counter out of this. Otherwise, I would have taken the hit. But I think he's going to try to go for my Luffy. That's why I countered out. Yep, there you go. He's going to go ahead. Look at that, guys. That's why I did not want to take the chance there. They go 11 into 7. They get rid of my card. I could have actually saved the card, but it would have cost me 3 cards in hand. Yes, Luffy draws a lot of cards, but I'm not trying to get out of that. Okay, then he goes 2 into 2 there. I really thought about taking that or saving the card, but that's okay. All right, it's my turn again. Very nice. So, guys, there's only 1 card. Well, there's 2 cards we can grab here, the Gear 2 or the Sanji. So I think we're going to go ahead and grab the Sanji. Then we're going to set the cards up the way we want them. We're going to draw the Gear 2 for the turn. And then we're going to cheat out the Nefeltari VV with the Sanji. I know, not the greatest play, but hey, I mean, it is what it is, right? That's all we can do sometimes. Okay, so we're going to swing 6 into 6 here. Okay, and now we're going to play out the Sanji, playing out the Nefeltari VV, drawing some cards, and we're going to pass the turn. Now, this is a situation here. We have 2 life. It would be nice if we could leave more Dawn active in case he has another Dead Man's Game, but we had to play this in a very specific way. We really couldn't do anything else. They swing in. We 2K counter out of a 7K and a 6. 9 into 6, we can take that because now he can't swing a bunch of times here. He's going to go 7 into 6 as he uses leader effect or character effect. He's thinking about it. He decides not to. I'm going to go ahead and cash in on one of these Gear 2s here. I probably could have done Gum Gum Giant there. It might have been a better idea, but that's okay. And I'm glad I didn't now because I did not want to hit that 8-cost Luffy. I want to hit the Luffy with my Sanji. This is really nice. I'm going to draw Sanji for the turn. I drew the Nami. I'm going to start swinging into the... Guys, watch this. 9 into 7. Yep, bye-bye. 9 into 7. Bye-bye to that card. Now we will swing for 6 in the face here. Let's see what they do. They'll probably take this to start drawing some cards. Seems good. And now I'm swinging in here. And now I'm probably going to trash a card to bounce back my Nefeltari VV. Okay. Nope. I'm actually not going to do that right now. So look at my board, guys. This is the spot no one wants to be in. They're going to go ahead and get desperate here. They're going to play out the 6-cost Secret Luffy. They're going, okay, I'm just going all in here. 10 into 6. I'm going to Gum Gum Giant to get out of that. Trashing this card to draw 2, trash 1. And, yep, 6 in there, 1K out, and then 10 more. I can just take this, and that's game over. GG to my opponent. They left, they didn't even leave early there. It's just over at this point because it's going to be 9, 9, 9, 8, and then everything else on my leader. So, good game to my opponent there. That was a fun one. They had some stuff left in hand. They had 1 Gum Gum Giant. They had a 2K counter and a 0-cost 3K. But how many of those are they going to get out? Excuse me, I wouldn't be swinging for 9. What am I talking about? He would be a 6,000 power leader. So I would just go 10, 10, 10, 10, and that's game over. There's just no getting out of it, right? Because the first 10 would be met with a Gum Gum Giant and a 1K, and then the next 10 would be met with a 2K and the 0-cost 3K, and then I still have 2 10s left and my leader attack. So it's just over at that point. Either way, good game to my opponent there, and good game to all my opponents. Those were a lot of fun games. All right, let's check out the list one more time. We're going to finish off by checking out this last list. Again, this is the very last one we were looking at the very end there. I think this is going to be a pretty decent route moving forward for Luffy. Now, I do have to say this. There is a blue-purple Luffy that was at the Las Vegas tournament back in and this was in OP-11, set OP-11. It was still running 9-cost Lin, but I think everything else is still legal in that list. The person who piloted it, their name was Nick Mapes, I believe, and I have to give a shout out because I think that deck is probably just going to be fine. I'll try to link that in the comment section below. Let me at least see if I have that deck in here. Just I might randomly have that in my I actually don't have it in here, guys. My apologies, but we will look it up real quick because I do have it up, or we can look it up real quick on one of these, Limitless. We'll look it up on Limitless. Here we go. Let's go to decks. We'll go to Blue Purple Luffy, and we would go down to, it looks like we got to go back some. Can we click on it from here? I don't know how we can look at this. Here it is. We'll look at this. Again, this is Nick Mapes' list, a first place list with Blue Purple Luffy. And this list is still completely legal, guys. The only thing you would have to change out in this entire list would be the 9 cost Lin. So that's something I might mess around with in the future. And who knows, if anyone knows the person, in person, maybe they can ask them what they think the deck can do. And Nick, if you're listening by any chance, by all means, please tell us in the comment section what you'd recommend doing with the list moving forward for Blue Purple Luffy. If people still want to run your version of the list and have the 9 just replace the 9 if I were to make any recommendations, I'd probably just say go up one of the Doflamingos, go up a few of these Onamis, and maybe go up one of these Namis. I mean, for me, it'd just be that basic. Again, I'm not saying, guys, I didn't build this list, but in my mind as a deck builder, I'm like, yep, okay, -4 here, +4 what I just said there, +1 Dofi, +1 Nami, +2 Onami. Or maybe even go, instead of +1 Nami, maybe go +1 Sugar or something like that. Probably a lot of interesting, cool ideas there. But as far as the deck list we were running today, guys, again, this is what we were running today. This is my my abomination here that we're working on. But it was playing very well, and I tried to focus on some really tough matchups, some decent games for today's video. Because, guys, I'm going to be honest, I think Blue Purple Luffy is still completely fine. He's obviously a little bit weaker than he used to be, at least I think. But I think if we build more towards this mid-range and removal package here, we might have an ability to just increase our chances of winning against the more aggressive decks, which that's what we want anyway, right? Let's just go heavier on the blockers. Since we can't gain life anymore, let's just go heavier on the blockers. And another card to consider, guys, I almost forgot about this. I've heard people talking about this card. This is another card I would strongly consider in the deck. This card is actually very nice with Blue Purple Luffy, especially maybe going into OP-13. I'll talk about another card in a minute. Let me see if it's on the sim right now. Looks like it's not on the sim right now, but there's a new 8-cost 10,000 power promo Roger coming out in OP-13, and it is an 8-cost 10K that has, I think it's if you or your opponent has 10 Dawn cards on the field, you get plus 2,000 power for the turn. So that's another card we might want to consider whenever that comes out in OP-13. But guys, I think this is another great card. The 7-cost Eustace Kid. Maybe it's even better than running this 9-cost Mihawk, because if we can just cheat that out with the 9-cost Sanji, okay, we dropped out, we dropped out a 9-cost 9K, a 7-cost 8K, and now our leader's a 7K for the turn. So that could help us stabilize for following turns. Now, I will say this card does hurt a little bit when we're trying to combo it with Gum Gum Giant, because we start going, -3 Dawn every turn. We might not want that. We'll have to see. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, I'm done, guys. That's enough yapping for one day. What did y'all think about Blue Purple Luffy? Do y'all think it can still compete? Guys, I'm of the mindset that I think Blue Purple Luffy can still definitely compete going into OP-12 in the West and maybe even into OP-13 in the East. We'll have to see what happens moving forward. All right, let's get the outro on here. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel, guys. Whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, I'm done. Hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.